Hello and welcome, Cogs. This is Dream Machine, and we're taking a look at the Steam Next Fest for February 2026, a celebration of upcoming indie games that we can try a ton of demos for. Now, today I'm highlighting and showcasing just 5 demos from the thousands of indie projects that you can find during the Steam Next Fest that I thought were interesting for different genres or reasons. Do keep in mind when checking out any of these demos that some of them are limited time demos that only exist till the end of Next Fest, which is until March 2nd. So if you want to try some of the online oriented demos, be sure to double check when they're actually online. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's get into our first game, which is Girl with Gun. Girl with Gun is a solo dev project by Decodal, I believe is how you pronounce their name, and the description reads, a dating simulator, but the girl has a shotgun, and if she doesn't like how you answer her questions, you die. Your date takes place in a living, watching cave where every element of the environment actively reacts to your tension and tries to break you. This game was interesting. It's not a long demo by any means. It's quite short, especially once you get the hang of what the game is actually doing, where you're sitting there answering between 2 questions in a room that feels very akin to buckshot roulette. All the questions come off as a bit nonsensical, especially with the answers, and you're balancing between fun meter and a madness meter, and there's ways to increase or decrease both of those meters as the day goes on. If you fill up with too much madness, she will just point the shotgun and fire. Otherwise, you want to get her fun to full to win the game. Like I said, it's a very short demo. It took me about 20 minutes to fully grasp how everything was going and to get a ending. Though they do say in the demo itself that multiple endings and numerous more questions are going to appear, as well as other random events that happen during your date. Be sure to check this one out. Hopefully we see more updates from this one soon. Next game up, we have Kingdom's Return, Time Eating Fruit, and the Ancient Monster from Inti Creates, the same guys that made the Gun Volt series, as well as Galgun. This is, as the description says, a kingdom rebuilding adventure filled with action and strategy. Kingdom's Return is an action RPG where you'll adventure to restore your fallen kingdom. Collect the materials in 2D side-scrolling adventure stages, then use them in the strategy part to rebuild your kingdom and power up your character. So there's a lot of going through 2D side-scrolling dungeons, gathering materials, killing baddies, and bringing that all back to a city building game, which builds up your actual resources for your hero. It's a single player game all the way through. The art actually reminds me a lot of the Disgaea series with how the sprite work is and the actual character portraits. Overall, this has got a very tongue-in-cheek vibe to it. I was enjoying the good hour that I spent into this demo, though I think you can actually go pretty far through the demo, definitely going through at least a few of the main quests and exploring the overall region. You also have access to all 4 characters in this demo. One is an alchemist, one's a pumpkin mage, the other is a traditional knight with a sword and shield, and then a Ronin style dual wielding samurai. Game is a ton of fun. It is planned to release April 23rd of this year. Now for one of the shorter demos I played in the Next Fest, not because I wasn't interested in this game, but because the demo itself is actually quite easy to get through pretty quickly, and that is Last Salvage Squad. Developed by Sunfish Kumano and published by Waku Waku Games. This is Sunfish's first game on Steam, and Waku Waku Games is known for publishing some indie Japanese games and doujin games. This is a first-person shooter with a very cool art style. It actually reminds me a lot of the Virtual Boy, but just not as eye-bleeding as that console was. All the characters in this game, from the enemies to the guns to the player and the NPCs, they're all 2D flat in 3D space. The only 3D aspects are the actual buildings and environment around you. Otherwise, everything in this game is 2.5D. It's a very cool look. A lot of the aliens that are coming down to the planet look a lot like the War of the Worlds aliens, and they're kind of tendrily robotic weaponry. So if you're a fan of EDF or the War of the Worlds property, you'll feel right at home here. Just not the new War of the Worlds. Fuck! Shooter has a really cool gimmick to it. Levels are actually quite short, but if you die in a level, or sometimes at the beginning of certain missions, you actually have to run for your main weapon you're going to be using in the mission and collect it off of the last robot that was firing in fighting the good fight. It's a cool premise how these robots are the last line of defense for the planet, even though humanity is long since dead, which is a theme I quite love. No date yet for this one, hopefully coming out this year, as it just has a 2026 release date. Now for a demo that I have been highly anticipating, and that is for Airframe Ultra by Video Cult and Akupara Games, the same people that brought us Rain World and Sorry We're Closed, as well as some other games. Airframe Ultra is self-described as a fast-paced battle racer where you compete with friends and foes in either split screen or online multiplayer. So you battle with weapons like pipes and baseball bats, and also can shoot with revolvers and shotguns and rebar launchers to try to better each other during the race. And then once you complete a segment of the race, you get into a PvP sort of arena zone where you beat the shit out of each other, steal each other's money, and then continue on to the next leg of the race until you have accumulated enough points. It is a very fun loop to do. Right now in the online multiplayer, you get to experience a few of the maps and 3 of the airframe bikes to play around with. The trolls are definitely one where you can feel a high skill ceiling will be needed over time. There's a lot to this game, like baseball bats, being able to do a home run and hit away grenades, or understanding the handling of your bike and how much boost you can actually do before you explode yourself. Ton of fun. Give it a try. The demo only lasts until the end of the next fest, so hop in now and get to racing. And lastly, we have the demo for Sanguis, a tactical strategy game that, funny enough, when I was looking through the demos, I saw the art style for this game and I went, oh, this looks a lot like Other Side. It's probably inspired by that. Turns out it's the exact same developers of Other Side. So they're coming back and doing another tactical strategy game that is going to be challenging and crushing all the way through. From the description of Sanguis, it says, bleed the world back to life in a series of tactical turn-based bloodbaths. Lead your stally elite warriors in the fight to save the world from the forces of stasis. Slay foes, kick them back on the timeline, and trigger chain events where elegance and blood flow as one. This is extremely similar to their previous project of Other Side, which came out in 2020, right down to the black, white, and red, stark red color scheme. But they're taking everything they learned from Other Side and adding onto it with Sanguis here. There is some similarities in the fact that there is 3 team members that you have, at least in this demo, that you can specialize. They get light roguelike mechanics where you can upgrade the units with different abilities, different power-ups, and we're keeping to the timeline system that Other Side used, where depending on your actions or if you overexert a character, you will appear shorter or further down the timeline, and you can affect enemies as well on the timeline too. There's a lot of environmental effects that can also affect gameplay during these segments. The main mission is you want to gather enough blood through these smaller engagements to then face the boss at the end of the memory, or you could think of these memories as days. Ton of fun. I found myself putting the most amount of time into this demo, and in fact, even on the front page of the demo, they state if you finish the game, you could possibly win the game. They are offering the first 1,000 people to complete this demo a free copy of the game when it releases. So try your hand at it, and hopefully you don't get crushed along the way. And that brings us to the end of the demos that I am showcasing today from Steam Next Fest. Again, there's over 1,000 demos to check out this year. Not even this year, just this month alone from Steam Next Fest. Give something a try. If you don't try one of these 5, maybe something else in the next fest will speak to you. Otherwise, enjoy your time, and I'll see you on the next one.